support in her favor, and if elected, Murmu will be India's first tribal woman president. Well, Draupadi Murmu, backed by the ruling NDA, seems to be headed for a comfortable win. Joint opposition candidate Yashwant Sinha still has his hopes high.
As all of you are aware, the polling for the 16th presidential election 2022 is going to take place today. That is Monday, the 18th of July 2022, in room number 63, Parliament House, New Delhi, and at designated places in the capitals of all states, including NCT of Delhi and Union Territory of Puducherry. The polling will commence at 10 a.m. and close at 5 p.m. All necessary arrangements have been made for a free and fair poll, and security arrangements in and around Parliament House, and particularly the venue of poll, have been strengthened.
All right, so that was the returning officer giving out the details regarding the voting. And meanwhile, voting has also begun in Assam too. Voting will be held in the Central Hall of Assembly House.
কাক ভোট দিয়ে তেওঁলোকে বিবেচনা বিবেক ভোট বিবেক ভোটৰ ওপৰত অপজিশ্যন পাৰ্টি নিৰ্ভৰ কৰিব আমাৰ দলীয়বিলাক আমিতো ভোট দিমেই নাই এইবিলাক পিছত হ'ব সেইটো মই কালি কৈছোঁ আৰু ক'বলগীয়া পিছত ক'ম আজি নহয় আজি ইলেকশ্যনটো
All right, so one after the other MLAs are entering the Central Hall of Assembly House in Assam, and we are getting more reactions. Let's listen in.
এই বিধায়ক যেতিয়া হয় অপজিশ্যন পাৰ্টিৰ লগত বহিব লাগিব এজন ৰাইজৰ প্ৰতিনিধি যিমান ৰাইজে 126 জনৰ লগত বহিব লাগিব তাক বহিলে যে বেয়া পাবলগীয়া কথা নহয় নহয় এই কি কথা কৈছে
All right, so reactions have already started as the members have entered the Central Hall of Assembly House for the voting, which is already underway at this point in time. And Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma will be also there in the assembly to cast his vote. And earlier, other MLAs had also arrived in the Assembly House. Take a look.
অলপ পিছত ভোট দিম মই অথৰাইজ এজেণ্ট হিচাপে আহিছোঁ আমাৰ ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতি পদৰ প্ৰাৰ্থী মুৰ্মু ডাঙৰণী হৈ সেই তাৰ কাৰণেহে মই আহিছোঁ চক ৰাজ্যসভা আৰু ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতি দুইটা বেলেগ বেলেগ গৰিমাৰ ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতি গৰিমাটোৱে বেলেগ ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতি নিৰ্বাচনত সেইকেইটা কথা আলোচনা নহয় যিবিলাক কথা ৰাজ্যসভাত নিৰ্বাচনত আলোচনা হয় সেইকাৰণে ৰাজ্যসভাৰ নিৰ্বাচন আৰু এইটো নিৰ্বাচনত অলপ পাৰ্থক্য আছে তাত এজেণ্ট থাকে দেখাব লাগে ইয়াত কনচাইন্সলি ভোট দিয়ে ইয়াত সকলোৰে কাৰণে বেলটত মানে গোপনীয়ভাৱে ভোটদান কৰা হয় সেইকাৰণে এইটো নিৰ্বাচন সেইটো নিৰ্বাচনৰ মাজত যথেষ্ট পাৰ্থক্য আছে
নিয়মাৱলী ব্যাখ্যা নাই অন্য ইলেকশ্যনবিলাকৰ নিচিনাই ইয়াত অকল বিধায়ক আৰু সাংসদসকলে ভোট দিব ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতি নিৰ্বাচনত বাকী কণ্ডাক্টবিলাক ৰাজ্যসভা আৰু হিতৰ লগত প্ৰায় অলমষ্ট সেম ইয়াৰ ভোটাৰ তালিকাটো হ'ল আমাৰ বিধায়কৰ তালিকা নিজৰ কনষ্টিটিউয়েন্সি নাম্বাৰ বিধায়ক কোন সেইটোৰ ওপৰতে তালিকা হ'ব আৰু সেইটো চাই ফালে ভোটটো দিবলৈ দিব
ইয়াত কোনেও হুইপ জাৰি কৰিব নোৱাৰে আৰু বিধায়কৰ সম্পূৰ্ণ অধিকাৰ সম্পূৰ্ণ গোপনে থাকিব নহয়
ইণ্ডিপেণ্ডেণ্ট মানে অন্য নিৰ্বাচনবিলাকৰ নিচিনা তাত কোনো কাৰো মানে কিবাটো নচলে মানে কি কয় আপোনাৰ হুইপটো নচলে মানে হুইপ চলা নচলে পাৰ্টিৰ কথা কিন্তু আগতেও মই কৈ আছো কিন্তু আমাৰ মানে যেটো শিডিউল 10 সেইটো ইয়াৰ কাৰণে এপ্লিকেবল নহয়
আপুনি কেইটা বজাত ভোটাধিকাৰ সাব্যস্ত কৰিব
মই চাই লম পৰিৱেশটো এইটো যেতিয়াই সুযোগ পাই তেতিয়াই দি দিম আৰু মানে যেহেতু বেছি সদস্য নাই 126 জন বিধায়কে ইয়াত ভোটাৰ যদি কোনোবা এমপি ইয়াত দিয়াৰ কাৰণে তেওঁ পাৰমিশন লৈছে তেতিয়া এমপি কোনোবা আহিব আদাৰৱাইজ 126 জনে ইয়াত ভোট দিব
All right, so as the voting has already begun in the respective states for the crucial presidential polls that has begun, and these are the live visuals on your screens from Arunachal Pradesh, where you can see that the MLAs and the MPs are voting, and at this point in time, the voting is underway to elect the 15th president today. So we will be getting you more visuals from different states and get you all the latest update regarding the presidential elections, which has already begun. And just to tell our viewers that Draupadi Murmu, backed by the ruling NDA, seems to be headed for a comfortable win. Joint opposition candidate 𝐩𝐸𝐿 still has his hopes high, as a total of 776 MPs and 4,033 MLAs across the country is taking part in the voting process, which would conclude at 5 p.m. today. And notably, the result will be declared on July 21st and swearing in will be held on July 25th. We are getting more reactions from the Assembly House. Let's listen.
নিৰ্বাচিত কৰি পঠোৱাৰ বাবে তিনিবাৰকৈ নিৰ্বাচিত কৰি পঠোৱাৰ বাবে মই তিনিজনকৈ মহামহিম ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতিক ভোট প্ৰদান কৰাৰ এটা সুযোগ পাইছো আৰু এই সুযোগৰ বাবে তেওঁলোকলৈ পুনৰ মই সেৱা যাচিছো
আজি প্ৰথম ভোট দিছে নেকি
মই প্ৰথম ভোটটো মই দিছো স্বাভাৱিকতে আমি যেটো দেখি আহিছো এইকেইদিন দুদিন ধৰি আমাৰ মকপল হৈছে যে দেখি আহিছো ইয়াতকৈ বেছি ভাল হ'ব
ভোটদান প্ৰক্ৰিয়াটো যদিও জানো আগতে হৈছে অকমান প্ৰক্ৰিয়াটো বিষয় বুজিও কেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ ৰাজ্যসভাৰ লগত কি পাৰ্থক্য
ৰাজ্যসভাৰ লগত পাৰ্থক্য এটা বিশেষ পাৰ্থক্য যে ইয়াতে ভোটটো দেখাব নালাগে ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতিৰ যেহেতু মহামহিম ৰাষ্ট্ৰপতিৰ ভোট সেইটো সেইকাৰণে তেনেকুৱা এটা চিষ্টেম এটা কৰিছে নিশ্চিতভাৱে যে দেখাবৰ প্ৰয়োজন নাই আৰু বাকি যেটো সিস্টেম আছে যে আমি প্ৰথম গৈ পেলাই যেটো সিগনেচাৰ কৰিব লাগিব যেটো আমাৰ এনৰোলমেন্ট আছে এনৰোলমেন্টৰ নামৰ এগেইনষ্টে সহি কৰিব লাগিব সহিটো আকৌ শপত গ্ৰহণৰ দিনাখন যেটো সহি আছিল সেই সহিটোৰ লগত মিলিব লাগিব তাৰ পৰৱৰ্তী সময়ত বেলট পেপাৰখন দিব আৰু বেলট পেপাৰখন দিয়াৰ পিছত এটা পাৰ্ট তেওঁলোকে কাউণ্টাৰ ফিলটো কাটি ৰাখিব বাকি দি পেলাই পেপাৰখন ভাঁজ কৰি পেলাই দিব আৰু তাৰ পিছত সেইটো মই নিজে বক্সৰ ওচৰত গৈ পেলাই
বেলট পেজ এই কালাৰৰ কথা আছে
কালাৰ এটা কালাৰে আছে এইটো যেটো মানে আমাৰ গ্লোপা টাইপৰ যেটো কালাৰ আৰু পেন এটা পাৰ্টিকুলাৰ তেওঁলোকে দিয়া পেন আৰু সেইকাৰণে আমাৰ দলে সিস্টেম কৰিছে এই ভিতৰত যেটা মোবাইল আৰু পেন কাৰণ বহুতে কি কৰে পেনটো ভুলতে পকেটৰ পেনটো মানে লৈ পেলাই সেইটো মাৰি দিয়ে চাহ খাব আহিছে এইবিলাক সুবিধা সুবিধাবিলাক লয় নিৰ্বাচনৰ আগে আগে বিভিন্ন সময়ত এইবিলাক সুবিধাবোৰ লোৱাৰ কাৰণে চাহ খাইছে চাগে
বিৰোধীৰ ভোটো আপোনালোকৰ পক্ষত আহিব বুলি কৈ থকা হৈছে বা
বিৰোধীৰ ভোট আহিব কাৰণ যিহেতু আমাৰ ভাৰতীয় জনতা পাৰ্টি বা মিত্ৰজোঁটে কেম্পেইন কৰিছে বিভিন্ন হেৰিয়াত গাঁও এইটোৱে যে প্ৰথমবাৰৰ বাবে দেশত যেহেতু এগৰাকী জনগোষ্ঠী এটা মূলৰ চাহ জনগোষ্ঠীয় মূলৰ আমি যেটো অসমত চাহ জনগোষ্ঠীয় বুলি কওঁ তেনেকুৱা মূলৰ এগৰাকী মহিলাক যেহেতু দিছে গতিকে সেইসকল আমাৰ দলৰ যিসকল নিৰ্বাচিত বিধায়ক তেওঁলোকে বিভিন্ন ঠাইত গৈ পেলাই যে এক্ৰছ দ্য পলিটিকেল লাইন প্ৰথমবাৰৰ যেহেতু এনেকুৱা এগৰাকী মহিলাক দিছে গতিকে সমৰ্থন দিব লাগে বুলি যেহেতু কৈছিলে আৰু মই ভাবো যে যেহেতু আমাৰ অসমত যেহেতু অধিকাংশ যেহেতু চাহ বাগান যেহেতু আছে গতিকে নিশ্চিতভাৱে সেই সন্মানটো ৰাখিব বুলি মই আশা ৰাখিছো আৰু সেইকাৰণে আমি ভবাতকৈ বহুত বৃদ্ধি হ'ব হয় প্ৰথম ভোটটো মই দিছো
তললে আসক জেং হ'ব এইবাৰ
Das, after casting his vote or giving his reactions regarding the polls which have already begun at the Central Hall of Assembly House in Guwahati. And the MLAs have already started arriving at the venue, giving their reactions before and after casting their vote. And just to tell our viewers that a total of 776 MPs and 4,033 MLAs across the country is taking part in the voting process, which would conclude at 5 p.m. Now, if we talk about the political profile of both the candidates, that is Draupadi Murmu and 𝐩𝐸𝐿, so as the first presidential candidate from Odisha of a major political party or alliance, Draupadi Murmu continues to break barriers. Now, coming from a poor tribal family in the village of Mayurbhanj, a backward district in Odisha, Murmu completed her studies despite challenging circumstances. She started her political career as a Rairangpur NAC vice chairman. Well, Murmu was a member of the Odisha Legislative Assembly from Rairangpur between 2000 and 2004. The Odisha Assembly honored Draupadi Murmu with a Nilakant Award for Best MLA. And if we talk about Yashwant Sinha, 84-year-old Yashwant Sinha, who quit BJP after being apparently sidelined, was a Minister of Finance between 1991 when Prime Minister Chandrasekhar was in office. He was again the Minister in Finance between March 1998 to July 2002 under Prime Minister 𝐻𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐝 Vajpayee. He was also the Minister of External Affairs between July 2002 to May 2004. Well, Yashwant Sinha was also an IS officer who spent over 24 years holding important posts during his service tenure. So the day has finally arrived as India's 15th president is set to be elected today. The voting has already begun in respective states, and while Draupadi Murmu, backed by the ruling NDA, seems to be headed for a comfortable win, joint opposition candidate Yashwant Sinha has his hopes high. Now, if we make a pre-election analysis, then Draupadi Murmu already has 60% support in her favor. If elected, Murmu will be India's first tribal woman president. And voting has already begun in the central hall of the Assembly House in Guwahati, while Chief Minister 𝐻𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐝 Sharma will be there to cast his vote. Notably, the BJP-led alliance concluded the mock drill last night ahead of the presidential polls. The mock test was conducted by the MPs and MLAs from BJP, AJP and UPPL. Meanwhile, a short while back, MLAs from West Bengal, BJP arrived in the assembly in Kolkata to cast their votes.
प्रधानमंत्री जी, स्वराष्ट्र मंत्री जी, इसको नाम सोचा है राष्ट्रपति चुनाव के लिए। आज मतदान है, तो मतदान जा रहा हूँ कि हमारा गर्व की बात है कि इंडिया में ये पहली बार एक सांवताल के परिवार के एक लड़की को हमने चुना है, इसलिए हम गर्व महसूस कर रहा हूँ। हम जा रहा है, ये हमारा द्रौपदी मुर्मू को वोट दे के हम जिताएंगे, भारी वोट से जिताएंगे। अभी जीता पर उसकी घोषणा बाकी है, वो जीत गया है, लेकिन हम जा रहे हैं, आनंद से जा रहा हूँ वोट देने के लिए।
प्रेसिडेंट इलेक्शन है, वेस्ट बंगाल में जितना भी हमारा विधायक है सब साथ में है और हम एक साथ में जाने वाला है, क्योंकि हम पोलिंग एजेंट है इसीलिए थोड़ा पहले जा रहा हूँ। तो वेस्ट बंगाल से जितना भी विधायक है उससे मेरा ख्याल से थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही हो सकता है, कम नहीं होगा। भाजपा का नया विधायक है बहुत सारे, जिनको ये जो राष्ट्रपति चुनाव है कभी किया नहीं है, तो जस्ट एक्सरसाइज के लिए। और हमारा टीम बहुत दिन एक साथ हुआ भी नहीं है, कोई बहाना।
All right, as we earlier said, that we will try and show you the live visuals from respective states. And right now I'm being joined by my colleague 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐝 from 𝐸𝐸𝐻𝐻𝐸𝐻 to give us the latest on the polls which have already started right now. Well, 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐝, as the polls are underway at this point in time and we are getting those live visuals. So what details do you have at this point in time? How many MLAs have arrived till now? All right. 𝐏𝐵𝐵, if you can hear me, you are outside the designated place where the voting is underway at this point in time for the crucial presidential polls. So how many MLAs have arrived at this point in time? Has the Chief Minister arrived to cast his vote? All right, we'll try and connect to 𝐏𝐵𝐵, our correspondent from 𝐸𝐸𝐻𝐻𝐸𝐻. But just to tell our viewers that the day has finally arrived as India's 15th president is set to be elected today. All right, 𝐏𝐵𝐵 joins us from 𝐸𝐸𝐻𝐻𝐸𝐻 to give us an update on the voting that is taking place in 𝐸𝐸𝐻𝐻𝐸𝐻. Well, 𝐏𝐵𝐵, has Arunachal Chief Minister 𝐻𝐵𝐵 𝐶𝐻𝐻𝐸 arrived at the designated place to cast his vote?
Well, yes, right now I'm at the polling place. As you can see behind me, all the local MLAs and ministers have been lined up for the voting process, and it's been a minute that the Deputy CM and CM have already went inside the polling room and they have already casted their vote. So for now, some of them, the local MLAs and then minister are here getting lined up for the voting process.
All right,
So,
Meme, so if you could
well,
get some reactions from the local MLAs who are there lined up to cast their votes and they are waiting for their number.
Okay. Well, yes, as you can see, we have the women MLAs over here, and then even the education minister is also here, lining up for the voting process. Sir, आप अभी अंदर जाने वाला है voting process के लिए, तो इस बार इंडिया गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से जो द्रौपदी मुर्मू है उसको चुना गया है नॉमिनी के, क्या कुछ बोलना चाहते हैं उसके बारे में?
पहली बार 70 years में हमारी ट्राइबल लेडी को एक मौका दिया है और हम नरेंद्र मोदी प्राइम मिनिस्टर बहुत बहुत आभारी हूँ कि हमें एक एसटी लेडी को राष्ट्रपति के लिए नॉमिनेट किया गया है और हम अपने से गर्व के साथ अपने को गर्व महसूस हो रहा है.
So that was the education minister Taba Taider. So as you can see, he have given a statement that this time the NDA have chosen tribal women and they are quite happy with that decision. Also because Draupadi Murmu is a NDA nominee candidate and also a tribal lady. So they are like even before the election when Draupadi Murmu came for the tour program. So they have, already, they have given a statement that they're completely welcome Draupadi Murmu in Arunachal Pradesh, and they are quite happy with the decision that NDA government have actually, nominated a tribal woman like Simti Draupadi Murmu.
All right, maybe till they are waiting for their chance to get inside and cast their votes, could you get some more reactions? We just heard from the education minister that he is happy that for the first time a tribal woman has been given chance. Get some more reactions from other MLAs as well.
Okay. Okay, well, we have here 𝐩𝐸𝐤𝐝𝐿𝐤 नामचुम sir. Sir, क्या आपने वोट मार दी?
नहीं जी, अभी मैं थोड़ी देर बात करूंगा. मेरा पार्टनर पोलिंग एजेंट अंदर है जो मेरे ऑथराइज्ड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव. तो जी मैडम, ये 75 साल लगा हमें आज अपना एक ट्राइबल लेडी को प्रेसिडेंशियल कैंडिडेट के लिए हमारा एनडीए पार्ट चूज किया. सर हम लोग बहुत खुश हैं एंड इट इज अ वेरी वेलकम स्टेप क्योंकि वी हैव अराउंड 1,63,000 ट्राइबल villages in entire Arunachal Pradesh and entire India. Arunachal Pradesh, to all the state itself is a tribal state. So we are very grateful to the High Command for selecting Draupadi Murmu as a presidential candidate. Thank you.
That was the MLA 𝐩𝐸𝐤𝐝𝐿𝐤 नामचुम, and also we also have one here, sir. आप कुछ कहेंगे? ट्राइबल लेडी जो है इंडिया गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से नॉमिनी चुना गया है, कुछ कहना चाहेंगे उसके बारे में?
हाँ, आज का इलेक्शन में एक बहुत बड़ा खुशी की बात है कि क्योंकि हम लोग ट्राइब का हिसाब से हम लोग फर्स्ट टाइम जो है हमारा ट्राइबल एक वुमेन जो है नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने कैंडिडेट पुट अप किया है कि 75 years after 75 years of independence हम लोग मौका मिला. ट्राइबल पॉपुलेशन का और ट्राइबल पीपल का बहुत खुशी का दिन है कि आज हम लोग अपना एक ट्राइबल सोसाइटी से ट्राइबल बैकग्राउंड से एक तो वुमेन को हम लोग प्रेसिडेंट का चुनने का मौका मिल रहा है. और एक ऐसे है कि मेरा अपना तरफ से फर्स्ट टाइम प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया को वोट देने का मौका मिल रहा है. आज बहुत खुशी है कि इसलिए ट्राइबल वुमेन जो है हमारा प्रेसिडेंट होने जा रहा है, इसलिए बहुत खुशी है.
So that was MLA 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐝.
All right, Meme, be on standby. We'll come back to you in some time. And right now, I'll be joined by our Imphal correspondent, Sharat Chandra there, who is also outside the assembly. And he is inside the assembly where the voting has already begun. Well, Sharat, has the voting begun? Who are the MLAs have joined for the voting process? And has Chief Minister arrived?
You see, right now I'm inside this Manipur Legislative Assembly building, and you see on my right side is this is the entry to this polling booth, and yes, we have witnessed the Chief Minister Biren Singh, then 𝐾𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐝 the minister, and many of the MLAs. They have already casted their vote. And yes, this voting begins at 10 and it will go till 5 in the evening. And in case of voting end, then this voting process can be ended earlier also. And yes, we are just once we have went inside, only two media persons are allowed to enter. I think probably this is the, I think COVID numbers are rising, so this some prohibition is already there, restriction is already there. Only two media persons at once they are just allowed to enter and to have a visual inside the voting this polling booth. And yes, we have seen many of the many ministers, many MLAs, and you see very interestingly in Manipur, all the political party except Congress do have already extended support to the BJP. BJP though is having its own 31 MLA, but besides that, JDU, NPP, NPF, and many independent, and even the Cookie People's Alliance also have already extended support to the BJP. And the Chief Minister N. Biren Singh earlier, when we meet him at the airport to receive the presidential candidate, Draupadi Murmu, he was quite confident that for BJP it will be it is going to be an easy win. So these are the confidence, these are the spirit we can see. Though you see getting reactions from the ministers and MLAs. Here it is not allowed to have an interview, but yes, once we just gone down from this building, then we can have an interview from ministers and MLAs. Probably we'll try to have an interview with Chief Minister N. Biren Singh. But yes, this near this polling booth we are not allowed to have, and ministers and MLAs are not allowed to speak. I think this is a prohibition, this is a restriction being made by the election observer. But yes, once we have go outside, then we can have an interview from the minister. We'll try to have an interview with ministers, MLA, probably with the Chief Minister and Biren Singh.
All right, Sharad, now, as you mentioned, that keeping in mind the COVID pandemic and as the cases are rising, so what kind of precautionary measures have been taken at the assembly premises?
Yes, you see here the marks is already being provided at the table, and sanitizer, hand sanitizer also we can see. And yes, already COVID prohibition is already there. At one time, just many voters are not allowed. Only few are allowed to enter the polling booth, I think, and that is the reason that the COVID prohibition. I think prohibition. It is also go with the media persons. You can see large number of media persons, cameramen, reporter here present outside this polling booth. Yes, I already mentioned that only two media persons are allowed to cover. Each of the two media persons are allowed to cover inside the polling booth. So I also went inside for quite some time, and we are here at the this polling booth. It is very near to the polling booth, and you can see the voters, that is the MLAs, ministers, and also the MPs of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. They are just entering the polling booth, maintaining this COVID appropriate behavior. And already mentioned that this hand sanitizers and the masks are already been provided here, so that anybody who skip the masks can wear from here. So this is the arrangement being made before entering the polling booth.
All right. Now, Sharad, if we talk about the pre-election analysis, then Draupadi Murmu already has 60% support in her favor. And if elected, Murmu will be the India's first tribal women president, isn't it?
Yeah, that is a very significant part of this presidential election this time, year 2022. Yes, everybody here very happy. Very particularly the tribal leader, tribal MLAs, tribal minister, and also the tribal political leaders. They are very happy, cutting across the party line. They extend support, and because this is the first time that one tribal woman is being a candidate from the BJP, that is NDA allies, and I think NDA having this good number. I think many of the leaders, many of the ministers, they are quite confident that this time the Draupadi Murmu will have a easy win. So that is the expression, that is the feelings. We have already interacted with many of the leaders. While the Draupadi Murmu visited Manipur, we also met with the experiencing many of the ministers, many of the tribal leaders at the airport, and they feel quite happy that this time one tribal woman is being candidate of this presidential candidate from the NDA side. This is a very happy moment for them. Also, apart from the BJP NDA allies, many of the political party they do feel that this is a very significant part this time, because India India just having a tribal woman presidential candidate this time in the 2022,
Right.
and also they feel that this time the presidential election will be an easy win for the BJP, this NDA candidate.
All right. Thank you, Sharad, as of now. But keep a track on the entire development. We will be coming you and taking lives and showing you those live visuals of viewers as the presidential polls is underway at this point in time. And we have a breaking news at this point in time, viewers. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has casted his vote, and we have fresh visuals coming in. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi has casted his vote, and this is the breaking news at this point in time, viewers. On your screens, visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi when he entered to cast his vote for the crucial presidential polls, which is right now underway. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already casted his vote, and we have fresh visuals on your screens where Prime Minister Narendra Modi, after casting his vote for the crucial presidential polls. So as India's 15th president is set to be elected today, so voting process is underway at this point in time. And on your screens are the visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who has casted his vote for the crucial presidential polls. So as a total of 776 MPs and 4,033 MLAs across the country is taking part in the voting process, which would conclude at 5 p.m. today. Notably, the results will be declared on July 21st and swearing in will be held on July 25th. And if we talk about the pre-election analysis, then Draupadi Murmu already has 60% support in her favor. And if elected, Murmu will be India's first tribal women president. But the breaking news at this point in time, viewers, is Prime Minister Narendra Modi has cast his vote. And on your screens are the visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi casting his vote. So as the first presidential candidate from Odisha of a major political party or alliance, Draupadi Murmu continues to break barriers. Now, coming from a poor tribal family in the village of Mayurbhanj, a backward district in Odisha, Murmu completed her studies despite challenging circumstances. And she started her political career as a Rairangpur NAC vice chairman. Murmu was a member of the Odisha Legislative Assembly from Rairangpur between 2000 and 2004. The Odisha Assembly honored her with Nilakant Award for Best MLA. And if we talk about the other contender, that is 84-year-old Yashwant Sinha, so who quit BJP after being apparently sidelined, was a Minister of Finance between 1990 to 1991 when Prime Minister Chandrasekhar was in office. He was again the Minister of Finance in between March 1998, July 2002 under Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He was also the Minister of External Affairs between July 2002 to May 2004. Sinha was also an IS officer who spent over 24 years holding important posts during his service tenure. So India's 15th president is set to be elected today, and Draupadi Murmu, backed by the ruling National Democratic Alliance, seems to be headed for a comfortable win with numbers in her favor. And on your screens are the live visuals from Imphal, where you can see the ministers and MLAs entering the assembly premises and casting their vote. So live visuals from Imphal, where you can see that the voting process, the election process is underway at this point in time, where the ministers and MLAs have already entered the assembly premises and are casting their vote. We will get their reactions, but at this point in time, they are at the crucial presidential polls casting process. And after that, we will try and get their reactions that how they feel after casting vote for the crucial presidential polls, which is right now underway. So live visuals on your screens from Imphal, where the procedures, you can see how the returning officers are going on, where the polling officers are going on with the procedures of the crucial polls that is underway at this point in time at the Imphal assembly premises. And as you can see, ministers and MLAs who have arrived and are ready to cast their vote. All right, we'll slip into a short break, but don't go anywhere as lots more updates coming our way.
Army, there were camps of the railway. The landslide started and it came down all the way, and it went down furthermore many meters down to the None River. The officials of the NDRF, SDRF, and also the local people who are carrying out the search and rescue operations.
The Shillong Pamai, he's the exact person just lead the rescue operation from this side. This is the Saroi Pandongba village. This is a river side on the Saroi Pandongba side.
हम और आप कभी नहीं सोच सकते थे कि डिमा हासाओ में इस न्यू हाफलोंग रेलवे स्टेशन इतना कुछ हो सकता है, और इसी रेलवे स्टेशन में विस्ताडून जैसा ट्रेन यहाँ पर स्पेशल टूरिस्ट आने जाने के लिए भी यहाँ पे रिसेंटली चलाया दिया गया।
You can see the people are trying. The local people are trying to help each other.
News to keep you ahead. Evening Prime, every day at 7 p.m.
जाएंगे हम वहां जहां की हर खबर छुप जाती है, और दिखाएंगे वो जो रहता है आपकी नजरों से ओझल। पहुंचेंगे हम पूर्वोत्तर के हर कोने में।
Naga political issues.
Welcome back, viewers. As voting to elect India's 15th president has finally begun, as a total of 776 MPs and 4,033 MLAs across the country is taking part in the voting process, which would conclude at 5 p.m. And right now, I'll be joined by my colleague Prakash Adhikari from Gangtok to give us an update on the voting process that has begun in Gangtok as well. Well, Prakash, at first, where are you at this point in time? And tell us about the voting process. Has the voting process begun? And has the Chief Minister arrived at the venue to cast his vote? All right, Prakash, if you can hear me, you are at the designated place where the voting is taking place. So tell us, has Chief Minister and other ministers arrived for the voting process which is underway?
Yes, Pooja, just Chief Minister arrived here and other MLAs and MLAs and others also come here. Just Chief Minister arrived in the assembly premises and at 11 a.m. Voting will start here. And just this is the live visual from the Sikkim Legislative Assembly, and Chief Minister just arrived here. Pooja.
All right, so live visuals on your screens from Gangtok, where you can see Sikkim Chief Minister Prem Singh Tamang has arrived to cast his vote for the crucial presidential polls which have begun. And as per our reporter who just mentioned that the voting will take place at the assembly premises and it will start at 11 a.m. in Gangtok. So there, Sikkim Chief Minister Prem Singh Tamang entering the assembly premises to cast his vote. Now, Prakash, coming back to you again, as we just saw a Sikkim Chief Minister entering the premises to cast his vote. Who are the other MLAs who have entered the premises? And tell us more about it.
Yes, Pooja, all the ministers here come here and other MLAs also come here. Just some minister, forest minister come here, and then after the power minister also here, and Transport Minister Sanjit Kharel just came here, and PHC Minister Bhimang Subba also present here. This is the Sanjit Kharel, the Transport Minister, and Bhimang Subba, PHC Minister, Forest Minister here, and another Power Minister also come here, Mr. M.N. Sherpa, and the IPR Minister Loknath Sharma, and other MLAs also came here just now.
All right, Prakash, if you can get some reactions, if they are willing to speak at this point
This
in
is
time.
the live visual. Hello.
Prakash, if you can
Hello.
get their reaction, they are entering at the inside the premises. So if you can get some reactions from the ministers out there.
Yes, Mr. Bhenjipka, you are going to voting right now. What is your first reaction, sir?
I think this is a celebration of Indian democracy, and we are happy to say that both the Sikkim Krantikari Morcha and BJP have unanimously to vote for the NDA candidate, Mrs. Draupadi Murmu. And we are happy to do that. Thank you so much.
Okay. Hello.
Right, Prakash,
Hello.
as the minister just mentioned, it's a celebration of Indian democracy and they are happy to at the premises to cast their vote. And we could see ministers and MLAs
Hello.
and along with Sikkim Chief Minister Prem Singh Tamang entering the premises, and after some time from now, they will cast their vote. All right, Prakash, be there online. We will come to you in some time. And right now, I'll be joined by our Chief of Bureau, Arindam Das, who is in Guwahati at the Central Hall of Assembly House to give us more details regarding the voting process, which has already started. Well, Arindam, you are there. The voting has already started. Has Assam Chief Minister 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐝 Sharma arrived at the venue?
Yes, Pooja, we are standing outside the Assam Legislative Assembly, and currently the voting is underway for the presidential elections. And we have seen that this presidential election has turned out to be a high-profile election.
All right. Arindam, if you could just fix your audio. We are not getting to hear you properly, and we will come to you in some time. Just fix that audio. Just to tell our viewers that we are also being joined by our Gangtok correspondent, Prakash Atikari, who is there live from the assembly premises. Well, Prakash, you are there, and we just saw Sikkim Chief Minister Prem Singh Tamang entering the venue to cast his vote, along with other ministers as well. So, Prakash, what more details could you provide at this point in time? All right, we'll try and connect to our correspondents who are lined up at different designated venues where the voting process is right now underway for the crucial presidential polls. And just to tell our viewers that India's 15th president is set to be elected today, and the voting scheduled to begin at 10 a.m. has already started, and all the ministers and MLAs are starting to gather at the assembly premises to cast their votes. And just a short while back, we showed you visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who casted his vote. And there on your screens, these are visuals coming in from Uttar Pradesh, where you can see Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath after casting his vote for the crucial presidential polls. And among the early voters were Northeast Chief Ministers, Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh, 𝐏𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐝 Khandu, who cast his vote. And we just heard from our Sikkim, our Gangtok correspondent Prakash Adhikari, who just mentioned that Sikkim Chief Minister Prem Singh Tamang has entered the assembly premises to cast his vote, as the voting will begin at 11 a.m. in Sikkim. And these are the visuals, these are the early visuals when Prime Minister Narendra Modi cast his vote for the crucial presidential polls. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has also casted his vote for the presidential polls, which is right now underway. And if you talk about the voting process that is underway at the Assam Assembly premises. So the Assam Assembly premises, the voting is underway. And our Chief of Bureau, Arundam Das, is right there live. Well, Arundam, coming to you again. Has the Chief Minister Assam, 𝐻𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐝 Sharma, arrived at the venue to cast his vote?
Well, we are outside Assam Legislative Assembly, and currently the voting is underway for the presidential elections, and it has started at 10 a.m. in the morning. And this election, we have seen that for the first time, the presidential election has turned out to be a high-profile election, because we have seen both the candidates, NDA's candidate Draupadi Murmu, as well as opposition parties' united candidate Yashwant Sinha, both traveling to the nook and corners of the country. In fact, we have seen them traveling in the entire northeastern region, and earlier we haven't seen so much of a high-profile election regarding the presidential elections. But yes, this time it has turned out to be a high-profile election, and right now we are outside Assam Legislative Assembly, where the voting is underway. But Assam Chief Minister Dr. 𝐻𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐝 Sharma is yet to arrive here. We have been waiting here since 10 a.m. in the morning, and so far he hasn't arrived. We are told that he'll be arriving sometime from now. But yes, currently the voting is underway at the Assam Legislative Assembly, where the MLAs are coming to cast their votes. But as you have asked whether the Chief Minister has arrived or not, he is yet to arrive, and we have been told that he will be arriving in some time.
All right, so he will be arriving in some time to cast his vote. Now, Arundam, a lot of activities going on at the premises in Assam Assembly. So tell us that so far, how many MLAs have arrived at the venue to cast their vote?
Well, the voting has just begun at 10 a.m. So slowly and slowly all the MLAs are coming. But as I've told, most of the MLAs are yet to arrive. In fact, Assam Chief Minister Dr. 𝐻𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐝 Sharma is also yet to arrive here to cast his vote. But yes, the voting is right now underway. We have seen few of the MLAs going inside, and they have cast their votes. But yes, most of them are yet to come. And in fact, Assam Chief Minister Dr. 𝐻𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐢𝐝 Sharma is also yet to come to cast his vote.
All right, and now after 75 years, Arundam, tribal lady has been elected for the post. So this is also going to be a crucial voting. Now, if we talk about the pre-election analysis, so then Draupadi Murmu already has 60% support in her favor.
Well, that's right. Draupadi Murmu, the NDA candidate for the presidency election, has got a clear edge because she has got the support of 60% of the MLAs and MPs. Whereas if we speak about the united opposition candidate Yashwant Sinha, though he has also done good campaigning in all across the nation. In fact, we have seen him traveling in the northeast also. In fact, he has come to Guwahati, and we have seen him that he became very vocal during the campaigning here in Guwahati. But yes, Draupadi Murmu has campaigned across the length and breadth of the country. In fact, we have seen her touring all the northeastern states and garnering the support of all the MPs and MLAs here. But as you have said, Draupadi Murmu has clearly got an edge in this election. She has got the support of 60% of the MPs and MLAs. But yes, we don't know, because it's going to be a secret ballot, and what will be in the outcome? We have to wait for the 21st of July when the counting will take place. But yes, if we see overall, Draupadi Murmu has clearly got an edge in this election. She has got the support of 60% of the MPs and MLAs.
Arindam, if you could just show us what kind of activities are going on outside the premises. If you could just ask your video journalist to pan his camera and just show us the activities going around you. Who are the MLAs entering? How many of them have come out of the premises and have cast their vote? So this is crucial as it is a presidential polls we are talking about. So as the results...
Yes, we'll show you the atmosphere here. We are outside the assembly right now, and we have seen some of the MLAs coming here. In fact, right now, Assam Minister Parimal Shukla is also here to cast his vote, and this is the gate of the Assam Legislative Assembly. And but the turnout is brisk in the morning, and slowly all the MLAs are coming and casting their votes. But most of them are yet to arrive here at the Assam Legislative Assembly to cast their votes for the presidential election. And in fact, yes, we'll catch up with Assam Minister Parimal Shukla. Well, it's how do you see this election? क्या होने जा रहा है?
जी ऐसा है, हम लोग का दिल में बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है कि आज का दिन में राष्ट्र का प्रधान का चुनाव हो रहा है और इसमें पार्टिसिपेशन करने का मौका हम लोग का भी मिला जो विधायक लोग हों, तो इसीलिए हम लोग का दिल में एक अनंत सा एक महल है हर जगह पे। हमारा पार्टी का जो है आप लोग का जानकारी है ही कि राष्ट्रपति उम्मीदवार हमारा पार्टी का तरफ से, हमारा अलायंस पार्टी का तरफ से द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी को इस बार प्रार्थी चुना गया है। तो हम लोग आज का दिन पे उम्मीद रखता हूँ कि बहुत वोट का व्यवधान से हमारा राष्ट्रपति निर्वाचित होंगे द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी।
Thank you very much. That was Assam Minister Parimal Shukla. He has come here to cast his vote, and he has said that, as you have mentioned, Draupadi Murmu has clearly got an edge in this election. She has got the support of over 60% of the MPs and MLAs.
All right, Arindam, please be standby there. We'll come to you in some time. But right now, I'll be joined by our assistant news editor, Pinaki, joining us from Agartala to get a sense of activities going on outside the premises. And as the voting process is underway for the crucial presidential polls. Now, Pinaki, as you are there outside live, now tell us about the activities going on. Has the Chief Minister arrived to cast his vote? And who are the other MLAs who have arrived at the venue?
See, till now, 21 of the ruling party MLAs have casted their vote, and none of the opposition MLAs has come. The Chief Minister has, in fact, casted his vote, and Deputy Chief Minister, they have casted their vote. So the vote is going on very smoothly over here. Most of the opposition are supposed to, hopefully, to come in another 1 hour. Because now the ruling party people are casting their vote, and we spoke with the Chief Minister, and he expressed that for the first time he's casting his vote, and he's very much hopeful that the NDA candidate will be elected. There's no doubt he has expressed, and he said this will be a history in India, because Prime Minister Modi has come out with a candidate who is a lady and a tribal. For the first time, such a candidate, and this is a big message that NDA, BJP-led NDA wants to give. How everyone, BJP keeps Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. That formula, this candidate will play and give a big message to India. What is the Chief Minister had expressed to us.
All right, Pinaki, so as you mentioned, not a single opposition members have come to cast their vote. So what could be the reason? And as the Chief Minister has already cast his vote, what was his reaction just after casting his vote? He seemed to be happy after casting his vote.
He's very happy, and he's very hopeful about the NDA candidate because his view is that this is a message that Prime Minister Modi wants to give, that women are not behind, particularly the tribal women are also not behind. And by selecting such a candidate, this will create a history in India. What the Prime Minister said, that there will be no cross vote. He is very much confident. From Tripura, all votes of the not only the of BJP ruling and the ruling IPFT, but even the opposition should think of casting vote to such a candidate, because it gives a loud message about Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas.
All right, so the voting will continue till 5 p.m. So tell us about the security measures out there as well, Pinaki.
See, there is no direct police over here, though plaincloth police person have been installed over here. You know, these are all MLAs, ministers and MPs who are going to cast votes. So the security is very normal over here. It's not that very cross-voting or something, any threat of that. Because all are elected and representative, people's representative who are going to cast a vote. And we can see only plaincloth police person who have been deployed over here, and the number is not that big. It's a reasonable number that has been put, because everything will go smooth. There's no doubt on it.
Pinaki, could you please show us the atmosphere around you? Tell your video journalist to show the atmosphere around you. Who are the MLAs who are entering?
They'll just show you how the things are going on. This is the voting center where the MLAs are going, casting the vote. You can see, you can go inside also. You can just check out.
All right. Thank you. All right, thank you, Pinaki, for giving us those details and showing us those live visuals of Agartala, where voting is right now underway for the crucial presidential polls. And just to tell our viewers that a total of 776 MPs and 4,033 MLAs across the country is taking part in the voting process, which will conclude at 5 p.m. And notably, the result will be declared on July 21st and swearing in will be held on July 25th. All right, viewers, we have a breaking news, Justin, from Arunachal Pradesh. 51 MLAs and ministers have already cast their votes, and about 9 are left. So brisk voting is underway in Arunachal too. So this is a breaking news at this point in time, viewers. 51 MLAs have cast their votes so far, and about 9 are left. So brisk voting is underway in Arunachal Pradesh. And on the other hand, if we talk about Chief Minister of Manipur, well, Manipur Chief Minister 𝐿 Singh has also cast his vote. So these are the latest visuals coming in just when Manipur Chief Minister 𝐿 Singh entered the premises and cast his vote for the crucial presidential polls, which is right now underway. So Manipur Chief Minister 𝐿 Singh has also cast his vote, and on your screens are the latest visuals of his casting vote. It's time to end this bulletin, but don't go anywhere, as my colleague Manaswita Mahanto will bring you all the latest updates as coming up next is our Hindi bulletin agenda. Thank you.
उसको दबा के चला गया।
नमस्कार, समाचार 29 में आपका स्वागत है। मैं हूं कविता, स्टूडियो में मैं हूं दुर्मेश,
मैं हूं रविंद्र चौहान,
मैं रश्मि भैया शेर, मैं नश्विता महन।
समाचार नॉर्थ ईस्ट हर शाम 6 बजे।
The Tupul railway yard where this massive landslide took place, there was a